The Transport Multicast QoS policy. The Transport Multicast QoS policy is useful in a system in which you have multiple data readers for a topic. So we have many different data readers that all want the same data. You can send that data very efficiently if you're using multicast. Now, multicast only works on networks that support multicast. So specifically, it works with the UDP protocol. If configured, the data writer will use multicast to send data to data readers. You can also send data using unicast. Unicast is sending data to a specific IP address. So some data readers may want their data using unicast. Some data readers may want their data using multicast. For example, you may have data readers on the left-hand side, and they both have their own address. In this case, the data writer will send a packet to 192.168.0.1, as well as another packet to 192.168.1.2. But using the Transport Multicast QoS policy, you can configure these three subscribers to use one address, a multicast address, in which case a single packet sent to that address will be received by all three subscribers, or all three data readers. The Transport Multicast QoS policy is configured by a parameter known as a receive address. Basically, this is an UDP multicast address on which you want to receive data. When you use multicast to send data to multiple data readers, you can greatly reduce the network bandwidth and CPU required to do that work. Note that the Transport Multicast QoS policy is something that you only configure for data readers. So basically, you're configuring data readers to tell the data writer where it wants its data. Does it want its own personal copy? That's unicast. Or does it want a copy that everyone will receive? That's multicast. It's kind of like getting your own copy of a newspaper or watching TV in which the data is being shared by everyone who watches the same channel. So, why did we bring up the Transport Multicast QoS policy for the periodic streaming data use case? Well, because the most common data that's used by many applications in a system, as in the same data stream that's used by many applications in the system, is sensed data. And sensed data is usually the periodic or streaming data. So you could really reduce your network traffic when you're sending sensor data using multicast. Note, the default configuration of most networks, most UDP, Ethernet, IP networks, okay, restricts multicast traffic to local subnets. So if you're trying to use multicast, but it's not working for you between your writer and reader, one of the first things I check to see if the two hosts are on the same subnet. If they're not on the same subnet, then you're going to have to do some configuration of your network. One, you have to configure the router or your VLAN to pass multicast packets between subnets. And how to do that, unfortunately, is very specific to your router or your VLAN. But usually you're going to have to get some IT person to help you log in and configure your router, switch, or VLAN to basically forward multicast packets between subnets. The second thing you're going to have to do is on the Connext DDS side. You'll have to set the multicast TTL. By default, the TTL, or time to live, is 1, which means that multicast packets are only going to be forwarded within the same subnet. If you need to forward it between subnets, you're going to have to set the TTL to more than 1, where the TTL is a number of hops or number of subnets it has to go through, a number of routers or VLANs it has to go through between the sender and the receiver. And this is done through other QoS policies under the transport built-in, which you can either do in XML or as a participant property.